So what was the message, Robert? The message was that regardless, by the end of the day, by the end of that traffic stop, when you're encountering the public, you are to treat them with value and the utmost respect until otherwise,
You know, we talked about discretion. Remember I sent you a thing on discretion?
I'm sure you'll remind me.
Yeah, they have discretion, right? The
Right.
deputy.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
They can ignore the laws anytime they want,
No,
as long as no harm's been done. That was how we left
Right.
off our phone conversation in January.
Right. They when it comes to certain misdemeanors, not all misdemeanors.
Right, but if no harm's been done, they can choose to do no harm, right? They don't have to arrest somebody if there's no injured party, right?
Correct. Right. There's not all misdemeanors. There are certain misdemeanors that you have to make an arrest. Yes, but yes, for the most cases, yes, they can have discretion whether they want to pursue charges, make an arrest, or so forth. Yes. Okay. DUI. DUI is a misdemeanor.
Right. There's no
first time. Yeah. There's the first time. Yeah. You have to arrest somebody. If you have the probable cause and he comes back DUI, you have to make that arrest for DUI. Yes.
So who do they list as the victim on the paperwork for court?
You don't have to list anybody for a victim as that. You're the witness because you don't have to list the victim. The victim basically is the state of Florida.
Yeah, they'll put the state of Florida in there. It'll be
They don't write in there, but they'll say when you go to court, state of Florida versus
right,
Joe Lopez,
right. And I've questioned that in court. I've asked them if there's a victim, what's the injury, and can I pay restitution and be done with this? And they say the state of Florida is the victim. And I said, well, how did I injure the state of Florida? So how do you morally justify punishing somebody for injuring a state of Florida? And what's the injury, by the way? How do you injure the state of Florida?
What are you talking about, like a DUI?
Any charge where there's no victim, they put the state of Florida in there. So they're claiming that the state of Florida is the victim or the injured party.
Yeah, I'm not qualified to go and say that. All I know is when you go and you learn about enforcing the law, they tell you these are the statutes, these are the elements of the statute, and with these elements, did you have to prove probable cause? You are duly authorized to make that arrest. We don't get, maybe, I don't know, maybe a constitutional lawyer can probably help you with that. I'm not qualified.
No. I'm just saying, if there's no victim, I was hoping that you would instruct the deputies to not do anything based on their discretion, that no harm had been done.
I think when we get into politicizing when to make an arrest and not to make an arrest, I think that's a bad precedent and slippery slope. Because when does it stop and where do you draw the line? In other words, don't arrest prostitutes because there is no victim. There's two consenting adults, okay, having sex and so forth. I think when you do that, then the next advocate is going to say, well, why are we arresting people for possession of marijuana? Okay. There is no victim. Okay.
Right.
And the next person is, why are we arresting people for, driving under the influence? It's a misdemeanor. And then before you know it, we have anarchy. So I think we have to be very careful when we as leaders say, hey, there's no victim here because it's the state of Florida, because DUIs is, when do you stop and when do you decide, yes or no? That's why it's in the statute. That's why it's in policies. The Highway Patrol says that you have the discretion in their policy to make an arrest or have the discretion of not to make an arrest for certain misdemeanors. One of them you don't have discretion is if you find probable cause, evidence that somebody was driving under the influence of alcohol, by policy, you are to make an arrest.
Well, what I'm trying to get at here is peaceful policing, right? If there's no victim, there's no crime. Yes, I agree with that. If there's a risk that they may do something, I remember the police used to give people rides home. They used to call a cab. There was always a peaceful resolution.
When I came on, all right. When I came on, same thing. We were able to do that.
What I'm saying is, if they mostly left peaceful people alone, people who've done no harm, if they would stop locking people up for disobedience, then we would end up with a more peaceful society, and then the police wouldn't have to live in fear, and there wouldn't be such conflict going on. I mean, that's where I'm coming from. In fact, I even considered running for a sheriff up in North Carolina on the peaceful platform that as long as you do no harm will be done to you. And as far as, like, if you want to take examples of DUI and stuff like that, I mean, there's other ways of, I believe, peaceful resolutions to those problems. There's Uber now. There's other things. You can disable the car. You can, I just think that locking up somebody, how do you morally justify caging up somebody who's done no harm, just basing it on risk? I mean, the roads are risky, right? It's 40,000 people a year die on the road. Just driving's risky. Right. Are you going to lock up everybody to keep those 40,000 people from dying?
No, but you lock up the people what the data shows that are risky behavior.
No, I just want to find a way to do peaceful policing. All right, I think there's a way to do it, and it's just the cops today are bullies. The ones I've run into. They're if you don't obey right away, they believe that they have a moral right to harm you. All right. I mean, you got to obey. But if you're a peaceful person, if you've done no harm, even if you haven't broken any laws, there's still bullies out there, which are giving police a bad name. Right. And they're going and they're messing with people who've done no harm and not even broken any laws. And then if you don't obey right away, they get you for disorderly conduct. What's the other one?
Catch up.
I'm just not stating my case right here. It's the problem I have is with the laws. I've talked to other cops about this, okay, and they agree with me. Most of them don't like politicians, right? They don't like all these laws. They don't know what the laws are because there's so many of them, right? And they're written in legalese. They're very hard to read. Do you agree?
100%. Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's ridiculous how many laws and how hard they are to read. And they're very vague. And there's city, county, state, federal, even international, right? And I've even heard that they enforce other countries' laws here, 200 and something countries.
Not here.
Right? They punish people for violating other countries' laws. It was on 60 Minutes one time, this guy for accepting shrimp or something that were packaged improperly, and they punished him under another country's law. So there's so many laws, they can't be counted, right? I mean, it's ridiculous, right? So I am all for armed men, the police, right, protecting peaceful people, okay? But what I'm not for is using these laws and saying that you're disobedient. You disobeyed these rules that these politicians made up. All right. I said this to cops many times. I said, these are rules neither one of us ever agreed to. There was no consent involved when the politicians passed all these laws. I'm all for you. I'm with you when it comes to violent people and rapists and child molesters. I'm on your side. But when you threaten peaceful people with violence, I can't support that. Right? You understand why I can't support that? I can't morally justify punishing people for disobeying rules they never agreed to. Anything to that? How do you expect people to know what the laws are when they're incomprehensible?
You're talking about, like, you mean the general?
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to obey the laws, first of all, I got to have a meeting of the minds, right? You got to be fully informed. I mean, there's so many laws we already agreed that they're incomprehensible. but yet
Well,
people are punished for disobeying them, yet they never knew what they were.
well, I think for the most part, a majority of the laws people know of. You know, you can't kill somebody. You know that, right? So, I mean, that's simple. You know, you can't steal a car, right? It's grand theft. You know, you can't take something that doesn't belong to you. Okay, you know that's a law.
Right.
Okay, you know you can. You know you can't steal somebody's mail out of his mailbox. Okay, you know you can't touch somebody unless they want you to touch them. You know, so I mean those are laws. You know, if you get into you know financial crimes, yeah, that may be a different different story. You know, if you're stealing somebody's identity, that's wrong. You know, so you know,
Basically, do no harm.
what's that?
Basically, do no harm. Right? Don't harm anybody. Don't steal stuff. Don't harm anybody. Right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's
so you don't need to know the laws.
yeah, that's common
Is
knowledge.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you don't need to know the laws. All you need to do is know don't harm people. So since we know that, what do we need the laws for?
Well, Robert, you're going over my head, buddy. Okay, you need to talk to the people who formulated this country. You know, 250 years ago. When you say leave them alone, are you saying that if you see somebody smoking marijuana, just let them go and smoke marijuana?
As long as they're not hurting anybody, I don't see how you can morally justify harming them.
No, you don't have
There's
to.
a lot of risk, Joe.
No, you don't.
There's a lot of risk.
Yeah, you don't have to harm. You're not harming them. You know, if you're smoking marijuana, you're walking in front of my house smoking marijuana, and I happen to come by and I see him smoking. I'm saying, hey, first of all, I have every right to confront you. It's what I do after that. And you say, hey, you know, you can't be smoking marijuana walking around. And you say, I'm not harming anybody. I says, you may not know that, but you can't be smoking marijuana. It's against the law. You want to smoke marijuana? Go for it. Smoke it in your house. No harm, no foul. You're the only one that's smoking it. You're not affecting anybody else. I know people tell me who are Democrats and say, hey, I have no problem people smoking marijuana, but I don't want to smell it. You know, I don't want people, you know, it's next to me, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I just had a conversation with a woman, a beautiful woman, African-American in Ivy Lane, okay, who said, hey, they want to smoke marijuana, but don't be smoking it outside where I can smell it. I don't like that stuff. So we have to respect, you know, we respect people, but we can't put our beliefs, force our beliefs onto others. So if somebody wants to smoke marijuana, for it, go smoke it in your house, you know, smoke it where it doesn't affect anybody, you know. Now, if I see you walking down the street and I say, hey, and you say, I'm sorry, let me put it out, let me throw it away, you know, and I'll go to my house and smoke it. Robert, hey, have a good day, you know, good. And now if you sit there and you say, go pound sand, I don't have to do what you're telling me to do, where do you think that's going to go?
Oh, I'm all for being polite, but what I don't agree with is police doing things that I couldn't do or that they couldn't do without a badge, right?
Like
so
what?
You see someone like your example, they're smoking weed and you go up to them and would you actually think that was a good thing to do without a badge, right? You're just a neighbor and you walk over there and they get smart mouth. Do you believe you're morally justified in locking them up, chaining up their hands, and putting them in a cage as if they're a rabid animal? I mean, do you think it would be okay?
Okay, I'm not following you. Are you?
I'm just saying that if you said he was smoking and he gets smart ass with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what, you're going to take him to jail, right? For smoking in public or whatever the law is,
right.
that he broke, right?
Yeah. You're gonna try to de-escalate it, right? You say, hey,
right.
Hey, listen, I don't have to listen to you. I said, look, Robert, we can have a discussion, and you could throw it away, and you can go on your merry way. Or if you force the issue, yeah, you may end up going to jail for smoking marijuana. Now,
right. And what I'm trying to point out is if you didn't have a badge, if you were just a concerned neighbor or whatever, how would that look if you chained up that guy's hands because he didn't listen to you for not smoking his weed somewhere else and locking him in a cage in your car, right? So what I'm saying is I don't think the cops should have more rights than the people. I don't think they should be able to threaten peaceful people with violence. I think they should be able to use violence against somebody. If I can't do it, they can't do it. You're supposed to protect peaceful people. In fact, I'm counting on you, Joe, to win this election and protect peaceful people from the politicians.
You said, I don't think police officers should have that right, more right than me. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about, okay? Your beef is not with the sheriff. Your beef is not with the cop. Your beef is with the Constitution and the state.
No. You're getting me wrong here. You're saying that I'm not saying that they should obey the politicians. I'm saying you should ignore the politicians and protect peaceful people.
No, I'm not.
The hell with the politicians' laws.
It
doesn't matter because it doesn't apply to any of us because none of us agreed to them.
Yeah, but I'm not obeying to politicians. I'm obeying the law.
That's what politicians do. They write laws.
But you know what? We take that oath, Robert. We take that oath when we become police officers to obey and to uphold the laws of the state and the Constitution. We take that oath. And when you don't do that, you violate that oath. Simple.
So it says, wait, you're taking an oath to punish peaceful people for disobeying countless laws that nobody can understand. Nobody can comprehend, and that they keep coming out with more laws every year. There's more laws. And I mean, I argued this in court. I didn't argue it. I demanded that they put the evidence on the table that proves that the code and the Constitution apply to me. Right? So where's the evidence that proves the applicability of these laws?
And what did they say to you?
They got nothing. There's no evidence to prove these laws apply to anybody. These are politicians' opinions, right? I would rather you be out there with your guys with guns protecting peaceful people than punishing them for disobeying politicians' dictates that none of us agreed to. I look at the politicians as the enemy, and I need you to protect us from them. Fair enough?
Well, I'm not a politician, Robert. I'm going to tell you.
No, you protect me from the politicians.
No, I'm gonna do my best, but I still take an oath. I still gotta uphold the Constitution in my oath. That's who I am.
Well, we can get you another oath. I'm working on one. Right? I mean, I really do. I want you to run as the first peaceful sheriff that's going to ignore these politicians and protect peaceful people from their dictates. That's what I want you to do.
Put it this way. I promise you one thing. I will not take my instructions or my orders from the politicians here in Orange County. You can take that to the bank. I will be the sheriff and the people's sheriff, and the 1.3 million people here in Orange County are going to be who? My CEOs. That's who I'm going to be accountable to.
There you go. Protect and serve the people. The hell with the politicians.
Yes.
There's a lot of force that's excessive, but yet it's legal and it's part of the policy or procedures of the police, right? So if somebody doesn't sign a ticket, right? So under their laws, under their policy, you can be chained up and locked in a cage, and they take you to jail just because you won't sign your name. Now, see, that's where I would love for that to stop.
Okay.
If you haven't done any harm.
So here, can I help you out with that one for a second?
Go ahead. You give it a shot.
No, I'm gonna win you on this one.
Okay, we'll see.
All right, you ready?
Go ahead.
You no longer have to sign a ticket anymore.
You don't have to sign it, you said?
No more.
When did that start?
Oh, I've been gone 4 years, and I want to say maybe 5, 6 years. You don't have to sign.
Okay, I have video of me with Orange County deputies, and they threatened to lock me in jail if I didn't sign a ticket, and I video recorded that.
How long ago?
Oh, geez, 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
I have to look it up.
You no longer have to sign a ticket. Now, I'm going to share something with you. There are officers, there were troopers who who always didn't do the de-escalation process to get somebody not to take them to jail for not signing a ticket. What I did, and you're somebody, I have to this day, 32 years, and I used to write 1,200 tickets a month, okay? I never took one person to jail for not signing a ticket because everybody signed a ticket. And this is how it worked. Did I have anybody who suggested or made thought of not signing the ticket? Yes. Okay. So this I would say, what happens if I don't sign a ticket? Oh, I'm not signing that ticket. Let's go to the worst thing. I'm not signing that ticket. Mr. Landen, if you don't sign this ticket, this is what's going to happen. You got to post a financial bond, all right, if you don't sign the ticket. That means that you got to go downtown. That means in order for you to go downtown, I got to take you with me in my patrol car. My policy says that when I take you in my patrol car, I got to handcuff you. And it's not to the front, it's through the back. And then it's probably going to take about 3 or 4 hours. So I'll be delaying your liberty for wherever you're going. I'm sure you're going to work, or you're doing something that you want to do, and you're not expecting to get there 4 hours later. So here's the choices. You can sign the ticket. It's not an admission to guilt or innocence. It only says that you're going to comply with the procedures that I explained to you of the 3 options: pay, go to school, go to court. That's what that means. It's in the little red box. So you can do that, or you can come with me downtown and we can hang out for 4 hours. You see the de-escalation?
Well, can I respond?
Of course.
All right.
It's a two-way conversation.
What if I don't want to go?
Then I guess you're going to sign the ticket.
Well, I mean, what if I don't want to sign it or go with you?
Then I'll probably give you one more opportunity that says, well, I'm going to have to put the handcuffs on you, okay, when I put you in a patrol car. I says, do you really want to do that? I mean, right now it's just a civil infraction, okay? I mean, okay. And then I'll say, where are you going? I'm going to my girlfriend's house. I'm going to go eat. I'm going to go whatever. I go, do you want to be late to that? I says, this could be over in 2 minutes.
No, let me answer. Where I'm going is none of your business. Don't worry about where I'm going.
Okay,
but
that's
wait
fine.
a minute. How can you? Okay, look. All laws aside, we're both human beings, right? I'm just wondering how you can morally justify threatening to chain up and lock up a peaceful person who has done no harm, right? And when you obviously you have discretion and you can choose a peaceful resolution. So how do you morally justify harming a peaceful person?
Well, morally, I'm not violating any morals, okay?
No, but how would you personally morally justify? Like if I had you on a witness stand in front of the jury and I asked you that question, how would you morally justify harming a peaceful person?
And then I would say to you, I'm not required to comply with your personal feelings.
No. It's not my feelings. I'm asking you to justify it according to your you have moral principles, right?
Yeah, but
all I want to do is hear how you're morally justifying using politics and dictates as an excuse to harm a peaceful person.
Do you actually think we will go to court and justify and talking about, all we're going to do is go to court and we're going to talk about the probable cause. We're not going to be talking about, because there is no extra charge. You know that, right?
Right.
He's refusing to sign a citation. But by law, what the judge is going to probably tell you is that I don't have to answer that question.
So if I had you in a witness stand in front of a jury now, not just a judge, and I asked you how you could morally justify choosing to use law as an excuse to lock this guy up who's done no harm, a totally peaceful person, right? And I've done this in court before. So I was just wondering what you would tell the jury, how you would morally justify it, other than I don't want to have to answer that question.
Well, that's what I would probably say. So
just say it. You can't, right? You can't.
Right. Is that the answer you want?
Thank you. That's all I want.